All right. What's good, everybody? This is Ryan Johnson with MoneyBass.com. All right, guys. Go ahead and get started for this evening, guys. Let's see. Let's see. Make sure everything is set up, looking good, sounding good. All right, guys. You know the routine. Please hit a 1 in the chat as you come into the live stream. Just want to make sure audio is good, video is good, all that good stuff. And, gonna have a little fun with it, guys. Have another little topic that has come up again. Yeah. I got a message from one of my subscribers a little earlier, but I already had kind of heard about it a little bit. Just thought I'd throw my input into it and also hear a little feedback from you guys. You know how we do. We mix it up in the comment section a little bit, talk about fishing, tournaments, live imaging, old school fishing, new school fishing, all that good stuff that we like to get together and talk about whenever it's time to go out there and hit the lake. So, like I said, let's have a little fun with it, guys. As you come into okay, I see some guys coming in. Hit me with the 1. Really, really appreciate that. All right, so what we have on the agenda for this evening, guys, I know you saw the title of this video. Yeah, is Livescope your excuse for failure? Man, what is going on with all these topics out here? Everybody wants to hop in on this Livescope debate. Well, I say live scope, but we're talking about live imaging. I run all Humminbird system, guys. So I have that mega live on my boat. Some of you guys are running Lowrance. So you're running the active target. And of course, there are guys out there running that Garmin. So they have that live scope on their boat. All right. And I see special shout out to Cajun Rob Fishing. All right. So yeah, he hit me up a little early and sent me the link to this video. But Cajun Rob, I was already on it, man. I knew you guys were gonna want to chime in on it. So you know how we do. Sometimes we'll throw in a extra live stream for the week. So every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, guys, we get in here, mix it up. And that is the dedicated night for our live streams. Whenever there is something that pops up, some hot topics, maybe there's something new in the industry going on, new products. Somebody may have some questions about their electronics, things like that. Then, I'll throw in an extra live stream for the week so we can get in here and have some fun. It's always a little fun hanging out with the fellas, getting in here in the live stream, guys, seeing what you guys want to talk about for this week. But got hit up with this topic for tonight. So what we will do, this is what's on the agenda, guys. So we will I have some footage that I want to pull up. And basically, you guys know it's from everybody's favorite angler, Randy Blaukat. Oh, yeah. Randy has a few things to say about live imaging. I know you guys are familiar with that. So we're going to pull up of some video footage that he just recently released and, just kind of do a quick reaction video for it. So I want you guys to get active in the comments because these live streams, they kind of feed off of what you guys are talking about in the comments. So special shout out to the Money Team. Want to give a shout out to the Money Team. Want to see you guys getting active in the comment section. So I will pull up that video clip. We'll just kind of do a quick review on that and just kind of hear some different thoughts, opinions, and ideas, all that good stuff. And then we will get into the how would you fish it segment, guys. All right. So on last night's stream, man, sometimes we get into it, guys, and things get a little crazy. So I did forget to do the how would you fish it segment. I think I did the same thing last week, guys. And then we did another live stream on Wednesday. So I followed up and did the how would you fish it segment on Wednesday. So have a little treat for you with that too. So we'll do the how would you fish it segment. And maybe if any of you guys are interested in hopping up on the screen, kind of sharing your opinion about some topics, then I would drop the link. How about that? I can drop the link and some of you guys can come up here and talk. But one of the main things that I want to say before we get started, guys, this is not an attack against a person. We are just going to be discussing it's not about the person, it's about the topic, about their basically the topic at hand. So don't attack the person, we're attacking the topic. So that's pretty much it. I know people may feel one way or the other. Sometimes feelings may get a little strong with this because, there's a little money involved. There's some tournament wins, losses, all that kind of stuff involved in it. So some people have, they may get a little passionate, but we are here to support each other, guys. As we always say, we're building a community here of anglers, like-minded guys that want to get out here and see success on the water, whether you're fishing old school, new school, electronics, no electronics, tournament fishermen, or you're just out there fun fishing, want to get together with friends and family and things like that. So just a little something for a little bit of everybody. All right, so as we always do, let me get into the comments and see who we have joining us for tonight. And real quick, want to give a special shout out. If you look down at the bottom of the screen, what we do each week is whoever gives the largest super chat, super sticker, cash app to support the channel, that is the sponsor of that live stream for that night. Because this channel is supported by you guys, the viewers. So if you take a look at the banner at the bottom, it says special thank you so much to the sponsor of the stream, Mark Scott. All right, guys. So Mark Scott was the sponsor of last night's stream. He is also a member of the Money Team. So let me hit it for the Money Team. Let me see. So yeah, it was kind of interesting last night. So we had some guys, kind of saying, no, I'm going to be the sponsor. No, I'm going to be the sponsor. So, that added a little different type of element to the live stream, guys. But let's go ahead and hop into the comments. And then this live stream may not be that long tonight, just kind of a little quick something. I wanted to hop in here, just touch bases with you guys and just get some thoughts on it, because it is a lingering thought. And also he does make mention of something that is going to be affecting a lot of people now that the tournament season is getting kicked off. And as you know, live imaging does not appear to be going anywhere. So we'll kind of get into that also and just offer some tips, some advice to some people that may be fishing on the co-angler side and wondering, how do I compete? What do I do if I'm in this situation or that situation? So what we're about here, guys, is solutions to the problems as they come up, because that's kind of what fishing is about in a sense, especially when you're on the tournament side of things, because you never know what you're going to face out there on the water. So you kind of have to be prepared for different situations, especially as a co-angler. So hopefully we can help some people out with that. All right, guys, so let's hop into the comments and see who we have checking in. All right, we have Joseph. What is going on? He says, okay, so he's getting straight into it. He says it's a tool. Fish aren't being poisoned or shot or gill netted. He has an opinion and he's just very vocal about how he feels. Can't accept other opinions. Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much what we're talking about, guys. I mean, it's just going over different opinions. Some people may have want to voice their opinion in one way. Some people want to voice it in others, but just being open to different ideas and seeing what is really going on out here. What can we really learn from this? All right, then want to give a shout out to Turbo. Have somebody new checking in. Really, really appreciate it. Looks like you are a subscriber to the channel, so really appreciate that. Then we have Jason Hayes. All right, hitting me with the 1. Let me know everything is going okay. All right, guys, there we go. There we go. Special shout out to Mark Scott, member of the Money Team, and he is the current sponsor of tonight's live stream. He ended being the sponsor of last night's live stream. So special shout out to Mark Scott. You see his name down there on the banner. And want to give a special shout out to Deshaun Peck. He is another strong supporter of the channel, and he has his own YouTube channel. So make sure you guys go and check him out. All right, got Joseph, member of the Money Team, hit me up with the 1. Let me know everything looks all right and sounds good. All right, what is going on? Have Darren Pearson checking in. All right, and who else do we have? We have Kurt checking in. Really, really appreciate that. All right. Uh-oh, guys. Let's see. What does Joseph have to say? We got a member of the Money Team stepping in. Joseph says, hey, I'm going to get straight to it. He says, I'm with Randy on this one. If you're not running Lowrance, then you are wrong. There are no other options. Wait a minute, man. Wait a minute.
Yes, sir.
I don't know. I don't think that's what he said. You said, I'm with Randy on this one. If you're not running Lowrance, then you're wrong. There are no other options. All right. So, Joseph, apparently you are a Lowrance man. It's all good. All good. All right. Then we have George Johnson says, what is going on? All right. Really, really appreciate you tuning into the live stream. All right, guys. So like I said, we're just going to get into this video clip, just kind of give a reaction on it. And what I'm really wanting to see is for you guys to get active in the comments, just so we can see some differences of opinions and just try to look at things with an open mind and see why some people are looking at things one way or the other way. So that's pretty much what it's going to be about. And I have some questions myself that I have not quite been able to figure out based on the arguments that I'm hearing that are either, well, actually that are against using electronics and basically, technology. So let's see. And then we have Mark Scott, member of the Money Team, talking about Humminbird all the way. That is right. He is out there running Humminbird Grass, Humminbird Mega Live, Humminbird Mega 360. and I think he's running that Ultrex. So whatever else you can get with Humminbird, I think Mark Scott has it all. So special shout out to you, Mark. All right, so what we'll do is go ahead and get into it, guys. What I'm going to do first is just share my screen and just play a quick clip. So this clip is when basically he was discussing electronics and what you need, all you really need. So let's just take a look at it. Let me share my screen. All right, just bear with me, guys. Let me just get everything set up. Again, we are live as always. So just kind of bear with me as I get things set up for you guys. All right, let me share that screen. Drop that down here, and here we go. All right, so let's see what he thinks about electronics in general. If we are talking old school fishing, do you need electronics? Do you not need electronics? If you do, what do you need in order to make things successful out there on the water? All right, so let's see what he has to say, guys.
I wanted to do a video on how to use 2D sonars exclusively. And the way that I want to cover this is I'm going to show you guys how 2D sonar is really all you need. And
2D sonar is really all that you need. Why do you need 2D sonar? Can anybody answer that question in the chat for me? I just want to get your opinion on that. Why would you think someone says you need sonar is really all you need? Let me just round it back one more time just to make sure I'm not misquoting that.
This is I'm going to show you guys how 2D sonar is really all you need. And, I've been using straight 2D for, my whole career ever since they came out with it. Last year, I finished 13th in the points for the Bassmaster Open Angler of the Year race using nothing but 2D sonar. I didn't use any down imaging, side imaging, or forward-facing technology.
Wow, okay.
All with 2D sonar. And I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to take you around the lake here, and I'm sort of going to show you how I, first of all, set up my unit nice and simple. And I'm going to show you what some stuff looks like on 2D sonar so you'll get a familiar picture with it if you're not real familiar with what AbrazX looks like.
Gotcha. So anyway. Okay. So there we go, guys. So it sounds like he was doing pretty well with, he said, just sonar. Wow. So let me just make sure I didn't leave anything. Let's go ahead and just listen just a quick more second and see.
Let's get to it here. Okay, guys, before we show you some places on the lake, what everything looks like, I'm going to show you guys how I set up my unit, my 2D.
Okay, so that's good enough for that part. So that's what I wanted to just get out of that segment right there, guys. He says 2D sonar is all you need. And also just to get kind of a feel for the room, who in here is kind of against using live imaging or technology in general and just wants to stick to the old school method of fishing? And if you guys tuned into last night's live stream, you saw I was out there with Darren Pearson. We were mixing it up. We had the old school where he's like talking about, hey, we're going to go and hit this ditch next to the channel bend and the drains and all that kind of stuff, the positioning of the fish, all of that good stuff. And then we mixed that in with using the Mega 360. We used the live imaging just a little bit, but it was just a mixture of the two that, and we were just out there having a great conversation, all that stuff. So on the lake, that is what we talked about. And let me just see, hold on just a second. So that's the question, guys. I just want to see, what do you guys think about using technology? Who is kind of for it, who is against it, just so we can get a feel for the room and, make the conversation a little interesting. And I see some of you guys still getting active in the comments. Deshaun Peck says, I second you on that. So yeah, so Deshaun Peck is running all Humminbirds too. But yeah, so there's going to be guys in here that are running Lowrance, running Garmin, running Humminbird. So yeah, everybody is welcome here. All right, then we have George Johnson says, I'm a crappie fisherman. Before Livescope, it was hit and miss. With Livescope, I learned what fish do during cloudy days versus sunny days, windy versus calm. Livescope is not only a tool, it is a teacher. All right, so there we go. So it looks like George is out there, getting familiar with that system. All right, then we have Texas Noop checking in. All right, he says, what's up, Money? All right, what is going on? Glad you're chiming in and stepping into the live stream. All right, so that was the first clip, basically where he talks about using the 2D sonar is all you need. But my question that I wanted to pose, but I don't see anyone that's in here that's saying they're necessarily against using live imaging. But my question was, if Randy is saying all you need is 2D sonar, why would you need 2D sonar at all? Because people were catching fish prior to using that. So why would people say that they do need that and it's okay to have the 2D sonar technology and not the live scope? So that is the thing that I was looking to get answered. All right, so as I pull up this next clip, guys, go ahead and get active in the comments. I just want to see some of your responses. Again, we feed, the live stream feeds off of the comments and your reactions, your questions, comments, all of that stuff that are in the chat. All right, so just bear with me. Let me drop this down. And I'm going to pull up one more clip. And that will pretty much be the clip that we get into this evening. And guys, especially the money team, I want to see you guys getting active in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are on these different topics. All right, so hold on one second. All right, here we go. All right, there we go. All right, guys, just bear with me. All I'm doing is just sharing the screen, just making sure everything is lined up and ready to go. All right, here we go. All right, so let me add this in here. All right, just getting things set up, guys. Just getting things set up for you. All right, so what I would do now is just play some of this video from today so we can just kind of voice our opinions on it and just see, you know, what you guys think. You'll maybe hear a little bit about what I think about it too. So let's see. What does he have to say?
Hey, we have another round of subscriber anti-Livescope, anti-forward-facing sonar comments that I want to read to you guys. A lot of you guys are going to say, oh, God, here it goes again. Randy's harping on Livescope. Well, the main thing about this, guys, I don't ever want us to get into a position where we normalize Livescope and forward.
All right, so he doesn't want to get into a position where it is normalized. All right, and again, guys, we're not attacking the person, we're attacking the argument if you agree or disagree. So it's just all about the actual topic itself, about the statements that are made and whether you agree or disagree and why or why not. All right, so let's continue. So he says he does not want to get to a point where it is normalized, but all of these other technologies have reached a point where they're normalized because, as he said, all you need is 2D sonar. So 2D sonar is normalized, down imaging, side imaging, apparently 360 mega imaging, the newest thing, live sonar, that is not normalized. And it looks like he's looking to stop it from being normalized. So let's see.
Facing sonar because it's not normal and it's not good for the sport. So as long as it's around, I'm going to continue bringing this up. And one of the thing about it, guys, I get literally hundreds, I don't know, you know, maybe several hundred messages every single month, whether it be on my social media or on my YouTube or private messages about people sharing with me the stories about how they can't stand forward-facing sonar. I mean,
gotcha. So he gets hundreds of emails and responses about people that can't stand forward-facing sonar. His channel is anti kind of, some people say technology or electronics, but specifically forward-facing sonar. So to me, I would think that he is going to get a lot more people voicing their opinions being anti. On my channel, I do talk about electronics and not a lot, but I have people on here that do not use electronics. Some people come for the other topics that we talk about, and a lot of people that do use electronics, whether it's sonar, down scan, side scan, 360, and forward-facing sonar. So on here, I get a lot of comments. If you guys check out my catalog of videos, I have over 600. I have 600 plus videos on YouTube. A lot of those do deal with electronics and just the technology involved with fishing. So, of course, I could say the same thing, that I get hundreds of comments regarding technology and people that are using it and want to get better at it. So I think that is kind of channel based. So let's see what else he has to say.
My inbox gets filled up with it all the time. So that tells me right off the bat, there's a lot of people passionate about it and they feel that they don't have a voice. So maybe I can be a voice for them. But anyway, I've just written down a few of the ones that came to the top of my head here that sort of stood out to me a little bit. And I'm going to sort of go through them and sort of give you guys a feel for what the average bass angler in the United States is thinking about forward-facing sonar and Livescope.
All right, so let's get into some comments.
The first one is Randy. I was a co-angler at the MLF tournament at Sam Rayburn last week. Got front-ended by my pro the whole day. He was staring at his Livescope, throwing an A-rig. Livescope is killing the co-angler interest in the sport, and you're 100% right when you say Livescope is destroying the sport and the sustainability of our fisheries. What's next? Underwater drones that put the hook in the fish's mouth and you reel it in. Uh,
All right, so there we go, guys. What do you think about that one? So a co-angler is having issues with being able to be competitive while the boater is using their forward-facing sonar whenever they're fishing during a tournament. So I've heard this come up previously on some other things, and it's kind of like a hit or miss thing, guys. So for me, what I would say is with fishing, tournament fishing in general, especially as a co-angler, what you are doing, you are a problem solver. You don't know what type of situation you're going to be put in for, and you're kind of signing up for that. So you pretty much have to come prepared for anything and be prepared to change up the baits, change up weights, change up whatever it takes in order to figure out how to catch those fish based on the position that you have been put in. So for me, I would look at it from that standpoint. As far as if someone was to mention that to me, I would immediately begin offering solutions to the problem, because how are you going to feel competitive and feel confident going out if that is your mentality going into it? Like, oh man, I'm stuck in this situation, there's nothing I can do, so hey, it is what it is, you know what I mean? So we need to approach things from a solutions standpoint, especially whenever it comes to tournament fishing, because that's what you're there for. That boater is on the front of the boat trying to solve a problem or put some pieces of the puzzle together so that they can get ready and make sure they have success out on the water also. But that's kind of what I would say to a co-angler. And maybe that will be a topic that we talk about, because with the upcoming BFL season, there's going to be a lot of interest in from the boater side and the co-angler side. And the other thing that he just mentioned was having some underwater drones that go and, what did he say, put the hooks in the fish's mouth. But let's take a look and see if he says some more on that.
that may sound ridiculous, but guys, I can promise you, if Humminbird, Lowrance, or Garmin came out with a drone that would swim down there, put the hook in the fish's mouth, and you reel them in, it would be legal in tournaments. That's how ridiculous this technology is. So that is probably a pretty true statement.
All right. So it is a true statement. It is probably a true statement that tournaments would allow a drone to go underwater and put the hook in the fish's mouth. What do you guys think about that? Does that sound like a true statement? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that may be a little bit of, well, a lot of bit of an exaggeration on that. But let's say if that technology, well, that technology does exist, that there are drones out there on the water. And I've actually seen people that take the small boats, remote control boats, send those out on the lake, and they'll tie some line and a hook to it, and they'll drive it around, and they actually catch fish like that. I can actually see that as being something people would be interested in, but that would be a completely different series or type of tournament if you are now fishing using drones and the angler is not the one that is actually catching the fish. That now becomes a different aspect. The same way that there's industries for kayak fishing, for saltwater fishing, for trout fishing, fishing from the bank. There's all kinds of things that are out there. But when we start saying that they're going to mix the two together and use that as a foundation to say it's ridiculous, I don't really know about that one, guys. What are your thoughts on that? But let me just hop into the chat real quick, just to kind of keep up with you guys, just make sure I don't get too far behind and see what you guys think. All right, hold on one second. All right, so we have Joseph says that he 100% agrees with George on that one. And basically, George was saying that the live imaging can be used as a teacher along with a tool. So, yeah, that is a good statement. All right, then George also says, I use 360, mega side, and mega down, and Livescope. All right, so you have a little bit of everything on there. All right, sounds good. All right, Thomas says, good evening. What is going on, Thomas? Glad you are checking into the live stream. He says, good evening. No matter what you use, it's always live. You never ping on yesterday's bass. Okay. All right, then we have Joseph, member of the Money Team, stepping in. He says, I don't understand how he feels it destroys the sport. No one says he had to use it. No one requires him to use it. Yes, it can be price prohibitive, but it is literally a tool, nothing else. Right. And so for me, through having these discussions with a lot of different anglers, even on this channel, even the price thing, there are people that have more dedication to others to their craft. So where someone could be in the same position where they can say, I don't have the funds, I can't afford it. One person that will take the initiative and go out and find a solution to that problem of being able to afford it versus the other person that just kicks back and says, hey, I can't afford it, so I'm done with that. Those two people can still get out there and be competitive. Even the person that says, well, I can't afford it, now that means that you have to put in a little extra work. You're going to have to get out on the water more. You're going to have to learn different techniques. So there's things that you're going to have to do. So the person that says, well, hey, it's unfair, I can't afford it, I'm out, that person is definitely not going to be standing in a winner circle. So for me, it doesn't seem very productive to kind of put that mindset out there for somebody to feed off of that. It would be better to put a winner's mindset out there and let people know the ways that they can compete if they choose to do that. And if they choose to step into that arena with technology that they know that the competitors are going to have, that they choose to step into it without. So that's kind of the way I see that. But yeah, good comment, Joseph. Really appreciate that. All right. And then he says, not a thing keeps that co-angler from drop shot in the same brush pile. All right. So that is definitely a true statement. So this is the thing, guys. The what did they say? Front boating or back boating, however you want to put it, where a co-angler feels that they do not have productive water to cast to or to fish. Once people have become familiar with using live imaging, you may go to a point, you may go to a hump, or you may go into a cove. People are used to casting where they want to cast. But now that you can't do that, you have to kind of think outside the box and come up with solutions to that problem. Once again, what can you do to catch those fish? Using live imaging, we now know that as you pan around and look to the left and right and also scan all the way around to the back of the boat, there are many instances where there are fish everywhere, to the front, to the back, to the side of the boat. Some of those fish may be harder to catch than the others, but from a co-angler standpoint, you're going to have to get out there and do the work, because you're in a position where you have to be more prepared for any situation, more so than the boater, because at any point, even if the co-angler does not have live imaging, they can change up their game plan at any time, and you just have to be ready for that. So that's kind of how I see that, guys. But like I said, I'm looking to see what you guys have to say in the comment section. Then I'll just keep on playing through this and just kind of give a little feedback, give some reactions to it. So that's what we're getting into tonight. All right, so we have C219 Troll checking in. He says, what's up, Money? What's going on, man? I know you're out there doing your thing out on the lake. We have Julian checking in. Julian Brown, what is going on? Glad you are stepping into the live stream. But yeah, guys, make sure you're getting active in the comments. I want to see what your thoughts are on the topic. All right, so Cajun Rob, especially Cajun Rob. Cajun Rob sent me the link saying, hey, man, check this out. So, hey, here we go. We're up here talking about it, Cajun Rob. He says, if my boater is scoping, I drag a Carolina rig or drop shot behind the boat. So that is the other thing. Especially if you're out in some deep water and your boater is using forward-facing sonar or they're fishing vertical, you can just watch that boater. When they drop their drop shot, you drop yours. But that's just one kind of, one suggestion for that. But of course, there are going to be many others. It's just going to be up to you to determine what you have to do, whether it's throwing a heavier swim bait so it can drop down in the water column a little better. Or like Cajun Rob saying, maybe you have to pick up that Carolina rig with a 3/4 ounce weight on there. Make sure it gets down to the bottom if you're out there in that deep water. So there's solutions to the problem. You just have to think. You just have to come up with the idea and the plan to make it work. All right, so Joshua B. Fishing says, for me, live has almost no value in a tournament as a kayak angler. It costs too much time, but it's great for fun fishing. And in a tournament, the same people still win, live or not. Uh-oh, guys. So yeah, I hear that too. So those guys that are winners without it will still be winners with it. So the mentality, to me, is one of the main things that separates people that are in that winner circle. What is your mentality going into the sport? And what type of information are you taking in that will allow you to get your mindset to a point where you feel like you can't compete? So that's another thing to kind of think about, guys. All right. So Joseph also says, I boat flip just about everything I can. I'm not comfortable using a net or anything. I haven't fought and tired out. Does that mean everyone should put the nets away? Uh-oh. So yeah, so that's another thing where he's basically saying, this is the way that I fish. I do it this way. Because I do it this way, should I say everybody else should do the same thing? And that's kind of what we here in, on one side versus the other whenever we start talking about certain topics, guys. All right, so let's see what else he has to say. And like I said, guys, make sure you get active in the comments. I want to see what you guys have to say. Let's have some fun with it. I mean, like I said, we're talking about the argument, not the person. And I see everybody is sticking to the topic and talking about the topic itself.
Okay, the next one. Hey, just wanted you to know that in my bass club, we voted to ban forward-facing sonar. We voted 20 in favor of banning it and 5 in favor of keeping it legal. I've heard that several guys. I've had probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 different bass clubs that have contacted me and said that they have banned forward-facing sonar in their club tournaments. I've also had several other like local tournament circuits say they've done the same thing.
All right. So what do you think about that? So a bass club that says they are going to ban forward-facing sonar. Why would they ban that and not ban 360 side imaging and sonar and down imaging? Like, why? What is it that is making them say that the other things are okay when it still takes time and effort to purchase those things? So it takes time, effort, and money. So you have to purchase it. You have to put time in on the water in order to get to a point where you can use it well. But why stop at live imaging? Why allow the other types of electronics if it's all about fishing and skill? So that is something that I've been asking a lot, but I haven't really had anyone to answer that question whenever I'm asking it. And so for me, I think it would just provide a better understanding if someone is truly wanting to convince someone to, hey, not use this type of technology, but this technology is okay. And it's like, why? What is the reasoning behind that? Why one is okay and one is not? All right, so let's see. We have Julian Brown. He says those who pre-fish get the most value in Livescope in kayak tournaments, in my opinion. Half of the top 10 has them in every tournament. I fish in North Carolina. All right, so he says half of the top 10. So I'm thinking that the other half don't, and they're still in the top 10. All right, so there's still people out there that go out there like, hey, I'm going to make it happen whether I have it or not. So to me, I would think they're just putting in a little more time on the water and making sure that they can get those results that they want. All right, then we have Bo Judd. What is going on? He says non-boaters need to watch boaters and drop shot with the slightly heavier weight to get to the fish first. All right, so that's what I'm talking about. He's coming up with some solutions, and that's what I would say. Any argument that you have that is, I would say, against a certain style or type of fishing, it's all about coming up with a solution. From the back of the boat, you're already kind of, fighting an uphill battle because you don't really have, you don't have any, you can't really dictate what is going to happen for that day. You just kind of have to go with the flow and figure out solve the problem as they come up, basically. All right, so let's see what else he has to say, guys.
Okay, the next, Randy, I just wanted you to know, and I've attached pictures of my son winning his last high school tournament without Livescope.
All right, congrats.
Until now, he was getting really discouraged by all of his fellow high school competitors beating him and having Livescope all the time because he didn't. So congratulations there. Much job well done on some real bass fishing. Okay. Next.
Job well done on some real bass fishing. So one is real versus another one not being real. I don't know, guys. I think all of it is real because people are just choosing different styles. Where someone may bed fish, someone may be totally against bed fishing, while someone else may fish offshore. Someone else can say you should leave those fish alone. Where obviously we all know people are saying that you should leave bed fish alone because it's destroying the sport or destroying the fisheries in a way. So I mean, that's kind of what I would say, guys. What do you guys think about that? I'm still checking in the comments to see what you guys think. But yeah, so with that high school fisherman that they were speaking about, I mean, it's just different things in life that are going to happen because maybe they can't even afford a boat. They look at somebody else and they're sitting there in an 80, 90,000 boat, $90,000 boat, while they may be in a $20, $30,000 boat with all the bells, without all the bells and whistles. But we just have to teach them that you still have to figure out solutions to this problem. How can you beat that person? Do you just have to work harder? Do you have to spend more time learning about your mapping, learning how to read contours, learning how to do all of these things to be able to compete? And then once you do make it to that level to where you can have these other things, now you're going to catapult past them because you have a skill set that they don't have. And now when you combine that with the old school thinking and that new school, I mean, I would just look at it from that way, from a positive a positive sided mindset, and that's what I would kind of instill in them. All right, so let's see what else he has to say.
Randy, I fished local tournaments for over 30 years here in Central Texas, and I just want to tell you I'm done.
Ooh, 30 years. Congratulations on that. Now, that is a long time to be at the tournament level fishing, but he says he's done. Why is that?
You can't win anything anymore unless you live scope in open water all day, and I refuse to lower myself to that way of fishing. Guys, that's a common one. I hear that a lot about guys voicing their frustrations that they simply...
Wait a minute. Did he say he can't win anything? Let's just play that one more time. Just let me make sure I heard that right.
Guys, that's a common one. I hear that a lot in Central Texas, and I just want to tell you I'm done. You can't win anything anymore.
You can't win anything anymore. I was reading through some of his subscriber comments, and let me just read one of them that I pulled up and just see if his subscribers on the subscriber comments. So I see one here, and it says, I'm the only one in my club without live scope. So that may be kind of intimidating, you would think, right? He says, I won the season opener last week with over 21 pounds. Oh, 21 pounds. And that's a good bag on just about any lake, guys. 21 pounds. And then he said second place had 12 pounds using live scope. Hey, how did that happen? Because what we just heard is that you can't win, right? Isn't that what we just heard? All right. And then he says, I've won our championship the last 3 or 4 years, all without live scope. Congrats to that. So he must know a little something. Maybe that's somebody that should be giving out some information to let people know how they can get on that level, right? All right. He says, it's just a distraction to many. You can beat them. All right. So let's listen to this comment. So this is one of the comments that is, if you pull up this video, you'll see that comment down there. But let's see what he says again.
Okay. Next, Randy, I fished local tournaments for over 30 years here in Central Texas, and I just want to tell you I'm done. You can't win anything anymore unless you live scope in open water all day, and I refuse to lower myself to that way of fishing. Guys, that's a common one. I hear that a lot about guys voicing their frustrations that they simply cannot compete just going out fishing. If you're not live scoping, you don't have any chance to win. I hear that quite a bit.
Okay. And guys, just by the sheer numbers, if you have a tournament with 200 boats in there, 200 boats, how many first place winners are going to be in that tournament? Just one. So there's going to be 190 something boaters that did not, well, teams or however you want to put it, but 190 something other competitors that did not get that first place finish. So people get frustrated. There are people who have all of this stuff and still don't have that winner's mentality, because when things get tough, they get going. So to me, like I said, what is the mindset and the mentality that you want to put out to people? Do you want to have them thinking of the solutions to the problems? How can they still win? Like one of his subscribers mentioned in the chat. So just wanted to put that out there, guys. Like I said, I'm looking to see what you guys have to say about it. But let's continue. Let's continue.
Okay, Randy, I'm 21 years old and I refuse to use live scope. Please know and please don't think that all us young guys are down with the video game fishing. Very encouraging to hear that. Next one, Randy, I'm a lifelong...
All right, so 21 doesn't use electronics. Well, he doesn't use live scope, but he probably does use electronics, guys. So that's what I'm saying. Electronics technology, just because you're not going to forward facing sonar, you're still using technology. But he's saying that he's 21 years old and doesn't want him to think that that all the young guys use it. But I would say that the up and coming guys, that is what they're going to be used to. That is what they've been exposed to. Well, that is what they're going to be exposed to. So I would say that is going to be a minority case as far as people that are younger and that are not using technology. That just sounds like a anecdotal case right there. But let's continue. Let's continue.
Texas. I'm a lifelong Texas native, and I fished OH Ivy and Lake Fork since they were impounded. The damn live scopers are running both of these lakes as we speak. That is so true, guys. I can't even tell you how true that is. The next one, Randy, I fished the DFL tournament last week on Toledo Bend and got my butt kicked. This is...
Oh, goodness. Who out here fishes tournaments and has had their butt kicked on a tournament? I think all of us have. That right there to me does not convince me that it has anything to do with forward facing sonar. Let's see what else he has to say.
Probably my last tournament because it's no fun anymore. All I heard all week long was Livescope this, Livescope that, and I'm sick of it. I used to win tournaments down here flipping cypress trees, docks, and flooded cover. Those days are gone as long as Livescope remains legal. And finally, just the last one I picked out.
All right, so I don't know about that one, guys. So he's been fishing tournaments all these years and then just decided to quit because he couldn't compete, or not that he couldn't compete, he just wasn't winning. There are a lot of people that will attempt to do things and consider it a failure if they do not have goals set up that allow them to continue pushing on. So for somebody that is competitive like that to say they just quit, I don't know, just doesn't sound like I said, the winner's mentality, guys. That's what we're talking about. But let's just see what you guys have to say in the comments. I see a few guys have hopped back in here. Non-boaters. All right, hold on one second. All right, then we have Joseph. He says, how much should someone be allowed to complain due to size of boats, horsepower allowed, tunnels versus no tunnels? Different tournaments have a lot of different rules. Right, I agree with that. All right, then we have Joseph, member of the Money Team. He says, so they aren't upset about fishing. They're upset about being non-competitive in a tournament. Well, that's kind of what a lot of these comments are saying, that they're trying to compete, but they're not able to, I guess, find solutions to the problems to be able to catch fish based on the situation that they're in, which is the plight of every co-angler and every boater. We're all out there trying to determine what we have to do. All right. And then we have Cajun Rob says, that sounds like 5 cast hawk. Uh-oh. Don't get chicken hawk in here, guys. I mean, you guys know what side chicken hawk is on in this one. All right. And then let's see. Bo Judd says, I'll take that bet during the spawn tournament. Uh-oh. Don't want to mess with those spawn fishermen. Uh-oh. Get out there on those beds. He'll do some things. All right. Then Cajun Rob says, as Randy Moss would say, come on, man. All right. Then we have Joseph says, Uncle Joe agrees. Come on, man. Yeah, there we go. All right. So yeah, let's just make it a little interesting, guys. I see you guys coming into the chat. So once we go through this, what I'll do is read some more of the comments, guys, and then we will hop into the how would you fish it segment. So we always have some fun with that. So we'll get into that in just a minute. And want to give a special shout out to Mark Scott. He is the current sponsor of the live stream. I mean, he came out swinging yesterday. So nobody wanted to mess with Mark. So Mark is still the current sponsor of tonight's live stream based off of what he contributed yesterday, because nobody's stepping in today. I guess Mark must have scared him off. All right, so let's see who else we have. We have George says, sounds like he can't beat Livescope fishermen on a regular basis, so he wants to get rid of them. Yeah, so I mean, that's what some people say. But like I said, for me, I'm just seeking to understand the actual argument behind it. And so one of the things, I guess the theme of the video that we're taking a look at is that people are finding it hard to be competitive. And that to me can be the result of many things. And for me, what I have found, a lot of guys that I talk to when it comes to these type of topics, they start seeing how much work that you have to put in. Yes, you have to pay a little something and maybe a lot of something to get these electronics. But once you get them, that does not mean those results are just going to show up on their own. So it requires a big time commitment to be able to get out there and mix those skills together to make those productive out on the water. All right. Then we have Bo Judd says everybody gets their butt kicked more often than not. That is true. And some of us cannot take it. Some of us can't take it. I mean, I know you guys have known people that just pack up and jet. They'll be gone before the tournament is over. So it's tough out there sometimes. All right, then let's see. All right, Dish says Randy is just yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if that has to do with fishing, man. All right, so let's see. But yeah, thanks for the comment, dear Slayer. Then we have George Johnson says, hey, Money, I watched Buck Perry structure fishing videos. Great watch. All fishermen should take the time to watch these videos. Yeah, I mean, it's all about expanding your knowledge and learning. So, I mean, and that's what that sounds like that's talking about, that structure fishing, especially if you do not have the resources to be able to get these different types of electronics. So you just have to figure out ways around it to still be able to catch those big bags. Because think about it, guys. Before there was forward facing sonar, before there was regular sonar, down scan, inside imaging, somebody was still out there bringing in those 20-pound bags. How were they doing that without using these electronics? So if they were doing that then, why can't they still do that now is the thing. So to me, if someone is going out, they're coming in with 3 fish with say 4 something pounds, did they really expect to win? If they, let's say they don't have electronics, but if you come in with that weight, were you expecting to win? Maybe your performance should be a little bit better to be able to compete and come in with expectations of winning and not look for excuses or reasons why that your day did not turn out. You follow what I mean? Not versus why somebody else has 15, 16, 20 pounds or whatever, and they use electronics. But if you come in with 3 pounds, 7 pounds, 9 pounds, maybe your weight should be up closer to be able to use that as an excuse or as a reason. Okay, let's look at it that way. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. Let's see. Oh, we got one more. So we got Mark Scott, member of the Money Team, says fishing has changed in leaps and bounds. Get with the program and change with it, or do your own thing.
Yes, sir.
All right. So yeah, you got to stay up with the times. But yeah, so I was really wanting to see some guys that had a different viewpoint on that to get a better, so we can all just kind of get a better understanding. Because whenever you look in the comments and you watch the videos, it's kind of people just throwing out points with really no backing to it. So that is what I was wanting to see, so that we can just get a better understanding of how how everybody's thinking on these topics. All right, so let's see what else he has to say.
Is Randy, maybe Bass and MLF will finally ban Livescope when nobody is watching their shows because of how boring watching video game fishing is. I know I've quit watching. I've heard that a lot. So, anyway, guys, that's just a few comments. This is something that is none of these that I read you here are anything out of the norm. I get this stuff daily, constantly about forward-facing sonar and Livescope. And like I said, I just want to put these out there because I don't ever want people to feel that this is anything normal and acceptable. It's not.
All right, so there we go. So don't want them to feel that it is normal and acceptable. All right, so yeah, so those are my thoughts on it, guys. Those are my thoughts on it. Yeah, let me just do it. What did he say on this last
Sonar and Livescope, and like these that I read you here or anything out of this. Randy, maybe Bass and MLF will finally ban Livescope when nobody is watching their shows because of how boring watching video games.
Okay, yeah. So banning, so the tournament, so the different tournaments banning it because nobody is watching. I think that they'll adapt and be able to figure out how to still keep their viewers, into it, especially with the different formats. And someone did ask that in last night's live stream whenever we were talking about the different tournament styles as far as the format. And like I said, for me, I kind of like the every fish count format, just from the simple standpoint, it makes it more like any other sport that is out there. All right, and let's see who else we have hopping in here. So we have hold on one second, lost my spot, guys, just bear with me. All right, so we have Mark Scott says, I did it on 2D sonar for over 30 years, but the new technology now, you would have to pry out of my cold dead hands. All right, then we have Vernon Neal says, MoneyBass, I'm tuning in. We used to have a saying back in the day, get in where you fit in. There you go, get in where you fit in. All right, so he says Randy and his band live sonar backers aren't getting in because they can't fit in. Yeah, I mean, so that's what I'm saying. So some people feel that way and say that maybe they just don't want to take the time to learn the technology, even though they can get it. Because if someone is really dedicated, they will figure out a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. They will kind of let some things go to make way for the new thing that you're trying to get into. So some people do have a lot more dedication and persistence than others. So I think that kind of plays a part in it too. I don't think somebody that really has a true winner's mentality is going to just give up and say, well, I guess that can't be done. I can't afford it. I'm out. So that's kind of how I think about that. All right, then we have Joseph says, what if a frog had wings? His butt wouldn't bump the ground when he jumped. Electronic companies have produced a tool to help that people find useful. You don't have to use it. Right. That's right. So if you choose not to use it, then you just have to brush up on some other skills to kind of make up for that. All right. Then we have Thomas says, Randy leaving out all the people who are pro Livescope. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, it doesn't really seem like there's too much. It's kind of one sided. But guys, I was trying to see if there was anybody in here that could shed some light on that viewpoint. But it looks like, maybe people didn't want to hear hear that. All right. So we have Bo Judd says, I fish natural weedy lakes. Live scope is effective, but to a lesser extent. Many people have it, but it does not dominate as of yet. All right. So what about in that type of situation? What about using 360? Because whenever you're fishing that shallower water and you're saying it's kind of weedy, you're able to see those channels. You can actually see kind of like pathways in that grass where it looks like fish kind of used as a highway, bait fish and everything. So I wonder if you're using that 360 imaging to find your way around in that. All right, then we have Joseph Berthelot says, I see tourneys showing over the shoulder views of competitor screens. Yep. So that, I mean, so for people that are into keeping up with the technology and everything, I can see how that is going to be something that they would be interested in watching. I see more tourneys requiring a GoPro or referees on board, metal detectors that weigh in. Oh yeah, we get into that too, guys. So and the other thing, a lot of you guys have been asking about meeting up on the lakes and things like that. We have a very big tournament that will be taking place on April 29th. It will be at Lake West Point. The first place payout will be in the range of $10,000, guys. It is an open tournament, so make sure you go to www.rodbendersbassclub. Take a look at the flyer on there. You can print that out. Go ahead and register now so you can get a low blast off number. I know a lot of people want to get out there so they can be in that early flight. So yeah, definitely take a look at that because we will all be there, guys. All right, then Bo Judd says, yes, I do have 360 and it's awesome. All right, so really appreciate that. All right, guys. So yeah, I mean, so it looks like there isn't really too much to add or take away from this video. It's just kind of like, I would say maybe like a little rant where people were just pretty much saying the reason why, using that as a crutch to why they could not compete, or maybe they aren't getting the results that they were expecting. But I don't see how someone else having something would take away from your results, because if you go out and catch 5 pounds as opposed to 15 pounds, why is that? Why did you not catch those fish? Because like I said, before this was out, people were still out there getting those big bags. All right, guys, I wanted a little more input on that, but didn't get it. But what we will do is we will hop into the how would you fish it segment, guys. And what this is each week I pull up a video of some footage whenever I was out on the lake, and why not make it a live imaging footage video that I pull up, and we're going to take a look at that, take a look at the situation as far as the water temp, water depth, and what you see on the screen. Are you seeing fish? Are you seeing cover, structure? What bait would you use and why would you use it? So that is pretty much what we're going to get into, guys. Like I said, this one, well, let's see. You guys are saying some other things in here. Let's see. Did anybody else hop in here? Hold on one second, guys. All right, so we have Joseph. He says, how much fishing negativity comes from just a single accident on the water? Ever see a tournament shut down due to unsafe activities? All right, then we have Cajun Rob says, gotta put the work in. That is true. All right, guys, so let me share my screen. All right, we are out. And what we are going to do is take a look at this footage. And to some of you guys, this may look familiar. Let me just change the view a little bit. This is from the live stream from last night, where we are taking a look at the Mega Live with the 1.200 update on it. And we're out here fishing this. So I want to see, what do you guys see on the screen? And are you seeing fish, cover, structure? How would you fish this? Or would you just pass it up and not attempt to catch anything on this particular structure that we're taking a look at? All right, so here we go, guys. Out here fishing this ditch. That ditch actually goes down to about 35 feet, guys. If you look closely right there, you can see a little fish on the side of that ledge. Might be a big fish, can't really tell right now. But what we're doing, we're right off of here, coming down into this cove, into the middle of this ditch. Have that 360, and look what that 360 will do for you. So we can see that ditch run straight this way. And if you take a look at my trolling motor, it is kind of panned over to the right now. And there you go. So that's pretty much what we're fishing right now. Gonna head back down in there and see if we can pull another one out of there. All right, so we have DP on the board. All right, and actually let me just pan a little bit to the left and right so you guys can see how that looks on the live imaging. And I have it on color palette 10 right now. I've just been playing around with some of the settings. And actually, there we go. Okay, there's another fish right there on the outside of that that ditch. The boat is just kind of drifting a little bit, but let me just hit the menu. All right, there we go, guys. Let me just back it up just a little bit. All right, put it right there. All right, so what do you guys see and how would you fish it? So that is what I wanted to see down in the comments, guys. So that is a live imaging shot of when I was actually out on the lake yesterday. And I gave a little bit of it away. There's a ditch there, guys. So that is what we're fishing. That is a ditch. So let me just go back in here and see what you guys have to say. All right, so I see a few other comments popping in. Let me just go ahead and read those real quick. So we have Joseph says, let me see. He's talking to Cajun Rob. He says, you already know before he shows the video. So he didn't even need to watch it. He says, I'm going to throw that Duralast jig out there and put in work. All right, so you're saying you would throw the jig. Would you change it now that you saw what it actually is? Like, how deep is that water? How far does that jig have to go down? What weight would you throw on that jig? You know what I mean? What would be that setup that you would use? All right. And then we have Mark Scott. Mark Scott. He's coming in talking about the shaky head. He says shaky head all the way. All right. Okay. That might be a good one. All right. Then Cajun Rob says absolutely. All right, so here we go. We got Texas Newt stepping in. He says the challenge is the fisherman against the fish, not so much the equipment or the skills of the other fishermen. And that is the point that I was making whenever I was saying, if you're coming in with a not so good bag and you didn't have a good day, how did that person that you're competing with, wherever they were at, affect you from not being able to catch fish? You know what I mean? So that's kind of what my point was also. All right, so we have Cajun Rob says, ledge, I'd run a deep diving crankbait. Ooh, okay, a deep diving crankbait. How deep of a diving crankbait would you throw? How deep would that crankbait go, Cajun Rob? Drop that down in the comments. I want to see what you have to say about that. All right, then we have Bo Judd says, you got to put the C rig down there with the speed crawl and drag it. Okay, all right, throwing that crawl down there. All right, and looks like we got one more person stepping in here. Doesn't like too many of you. Look like you could work with what you were seeing on the screen. But Joseph says, I'd have to set up further away from the ditch and throw a big old crankbait or swim bait down the ditch and drag it to where the ditch opens to the hole. Okay. All right, so with that crankbait, again, Joseph, how deep diving of a crankbait would you throw? And also Cajun Rob, I want to see what you guys have to say about that. All right, so let me see. Joseph says, since using Livescope, I've started swapping up baits a lot more when I know that fish are there but aren't biting. Okay, all right, so yeah, so that's another thing about using it as a tool and to teach you about fish behavior. All right, then we have Cajun Rob says a DT20 or Dredger 20, 8 pounds fluorocarbon. So he said 20, but take a look at this. Take a look at something. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but that 20 would still not hit the bottom right there because that is about 35 feet deep. Let me see. Let me just play it real quick. That ditch, the boat is just kind of drifting a little bit, but let me just hit the menu button and show you guys the settings that I currently have that on. Out of that ditch, the boat is just kind of drifting a little bit. All right, there we go. So if you take a look at that and look right across, it is just a little, well, maybe about 30 feet, right at 30 feet, right where that fish is at, right on the edge of that ditch. So that's about 30 feet. So for me, I would not go with a crankbait, but who said it first? Well, actually, let me go through. I see Texas Newt 2010 says Ned rig or shaky head. All right, so let me tell you what I would throw, guys. All right, let me pull this back up here. All right, here we go. So with this live imaging, obviously, you can target that one specific fish right there. And for me, whenever that fish is set up the way that it is right there on the edge of the high end of that ditch like that, that is a fish that you can catch that is probably actively feeding and is active. So what I would do is we have Mark Scott stepping in and saying shaky head all the way. That is correct. And that is actually what was used to catch the fish. If you watched the live stream from last night, when I showed this footage and showed us fishing this, that is exactly what we used to catch that fish, was a shaky head. All right, so good job, Mark Scott. And let's see who else. Who else? Everybody that said shaky head. Maybe that jig would work too. And then Texas Nuke 2010 says that Ned rig or shaky head. So yeah, so for me, those would be my top options that I would throw based on the way that I fish, guys. All right, then we have Joseph says, I have very few deep divers, couple of 12-foot max baits. I fish really shallow areas. So my jigs, swim baits, and Texas rigs usually get me to the bottom if needed. All right, there we go. Cajun Rob came back. He said 30 foot, I drop a jig. All right, so he's changing it up a little bit. Then Joseph says, I'm perfectly okay dragging something over them and having them come up to me. Yeah, so that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, it's possible that they'll come up to you, but with that one fish, he's not really competing for that bait. So he may not be as active if it isn't something that just hits right there in front of his face. That's just my opinion on that. So that's why I would go with something to where I can kind of get it right out there in front of that fish. So he'd be, he'd have a better chance to catch that fish. All right, then we have Stephen Walden. We have Stephen Walden stepping in. What is going on? He says, don't forget about that mega bass dark sleeper. Man, that's not gonna work. No, I'm just joking. I don't even know what that is, Stephen. It's a mega bass dark sleeper. All right, but yeah, I don't know what that one is. But hey, maybe it would work. All right, then we have Bo Judd says at MoneyBass, what weight shaky head did you use on that fish? I like throwing a 1/4 ounce. And if you search MoneyBass shaky head setup, I do have my shaky head setup. It may be in the Patreon, but yeah, just search that on YouTube and you'll see my exact setup with the line, the rod, the reel, all that stuff, and the way that I fish that bait. But for me, I would throw a 1/4 ounce and just kind of watch it go straight down to where I need it to go and see how the fish reacts to it. All right, then we have Mark Scott says, in my tournament days, all anyone had was 2D sonar. The bags of fish back then were just as big. You had to put more time on the lake. That is exactly right, guys. All right, then we have Steve Ray says, still going with the Demiki rig. He's breaking out the Demiki rig. So yeah, I mean, that's been working out here a little bit. But for me, that shaky head is money. That shaky head has been getting some results. So that's pretty much what I would go with. But yeah, I do have that Demiki rig on the deck right now too. All right. Then we have Michael with High Tech Redneck Fishing. What is going on? He says, stepping in. He says, sorry, I'm late. What have I missed? Man, you missed everything. You missed everything. Yeah. So tonight we were just kind of touching over the topic of just different reasons why people are using live scope or live imaging as a crutch to where they're saying they're not getting the results that they should be getting because someone else is using live imaging. But for me, I don't see how what somebody else is doing should affect your results. If you're going to come in with 15 pounds, you should be coming in with 15 pounds. If you're coming in with 4 pounds, 7 pounds, something like that, then to me, that just shows that you may need to go out there and put in a little more time. But with fishing, guys, things change up on us. So you can't necessarily, say that either way. So it's just kind of, we're going to get out of it what you put into it in a lot of cases. All right. Stephen Walden says, I got to get you on those new cashins. Okay, what is that? Those cash and rods? Yeah. I mean, I've been wanting to try out one of them, man. Let me set the hook on one of those. All right, then Joseph says, gotta bounce. Wifey is ready for dinner. God bless y'all. Tight lines. All right, there we go, guys. So check it out. Like I said, tonight was just going to be a quick live stream. I really appreciate everyone stepping in and supporting the channel. Please make sure you guys hit the like button. Let me just check something real quick. Please make sure you guys hit the like button and continue to support the channel. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. And next week on Tuesday, every Tuesday at 8 p.m., I will be back again. We'll have some great info, have some good times on the live stream, guys, and be preparing for the BFL, guys. So that is going to be the topic of one of the live streams for next week. So make sure you tune in for that. And as always, if any of you guys have any topics that you want to cover, make sure you hit me up on my Instagram. It is at official MoneyBass. All right, so yeah, here we go. All right, yeah, guys. So really appreciate it. Let me see. I have a few more, well, 2 more comments in here. Then we'll go ahead and call it a night, guys. Because like I said, just wanted to make this one a quick one just to touch base with you guys, since someone did, kind of give me this information about talking about this topic. All right, so Mike with High Tech Redneck Fishing says, I've caught 35 bass over 10 pounds. Only 3 I caught since I got Livescope. Whoa. Shout out to that. That is a big deal right there. I mean, just the caliber of fish you've been catching out there. All right, then he says, it's not a crutch for me. There you go. All right, then Stephen Walden says, you should talk about how to fish as a co-angler when the boater is using Livescope. All right, Stephen. I know you just stepped in, man, but yeah, I mentioned that. So listen, I want to have you on the panel for next week. So what I will do, guys, is we will have a panel of guys on here that are going to be fishing the BFL. I'll try to mix it up with boaters and co-anglers, and we'll get on here and kind of chop it up a little bit. So we should have some fun with that one. And also, of course, we're going to go over live imaging again, because that 2.80 update for the graphs is out. So I completed that. I'm going to spend a little bit more time on the water, and I will bring up some footage that will definitely help you guys out. So you guys should like that. All right, then Bo just says, kind of new here, love your stuff. All right, shout out to that. Really appreciate it. And I see that you are a subscriber to the channel, so really appreciate the support. And definitely make sure that you come and check back next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. We will be doing another live stream. Generally we run the live streams. They'll go for about 2 hours, depending on the topic that we have and the activity in the chat. So we generally have a lot of fun on the Tuesday night live streams on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Sometimes I do drop a little quick live stream just to kind of touch bases on a topic if somebody mentions something to me. Yeah, so other than that, oh yeah, real quick, you guys did ask about the merch, the hats, the hoodies. The links for that are down below in the description, and it should be right below the video itself. Also, make sure you guys always check the description in the videos. Anytime I find products with discounts, any products that I think that will be very helpful to you guys, or just some pertinent information out there, I always drop that in the description of the videos to make sure it is something that will help you guys out, because I'm always trying to provide value for you guys. All right, guys, let's go ahead and call it a night. I really appreciate you stopping in and supporting the channel, supporting the live stream. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out and subscribe. We're growing fast, guys. Subscribe, and I will see you guys on